Are you a little snoozy because you got up so early again today? Yeah. Guess what? Dad's going back to New York City. Remember how we were in New York City recently? Do you remember? We were there for Aunt Julie's wedding. Cheers. Clink. We're gonna have breakfast soon.
Seasoning on it.
2, 3, 4.
Are you the star? Secretly, are you the star today? Somebody yesterday saw him and said, I feel bad for the bride. You look a little snoozy. Dude. Alright. It was my second time on the road in under a week, which felt really bizarre and also very exciting after 2 years of sitting in my office doing presentations to a webcam. Ooh, it's cold in Connecticut, which means it'll be cold in New York, because I'm only going on a train for like 60 miles or something like that. There's something magical about traveling, particularly into New York City, and in some ways it felt like going home. Now, I'm not from New York City, and I never used to spend a ton of time speaking in New York, but being one of the cultural epicenters of the world, it really felt appropriate that I'd be giving this talk tonight.
Track 8.
Track 8.
Track 8.
We're moving to track 8. See, tonight's audience wasn't just any old corporate audience. It was a group of event planners and meeting planners, people from all over the country who had been absolutely wiped out, devastated by the COVID effects on the live event industry. Some of these people have barely been working for 2 years. Many were furloughed and others got reassigned to much less exciting, much less meaningful jobs while we all waited for live events to come back. And I had been asked to come speak to this group to get them excited and energized and inspired about how important their jobs really are. Because after hearing about the devastation and the death and the disarray over the last couple of years, it's easy for people in a field like event planning to feel like their work doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of problems in the world. But of course it does, and it was my intention to make sure they knew that. Well, we made it all the way into New York. Got about a 10-minute walk from here. I could take the subway, but I got 2 hours to play with. It's only 10 minutes. And it's cold, but not too cold, so it's kind of a nice day. May as well get a little experience in New York City. Very chilly, very chilly. Walking right past Bryant Park, which is where the Winter Village is every winter. I don't think it's still set up anymore. It's March 1st today, but you remember a few years ago, Lindsay and I did a vlog there. It was actually one of the last vlogs I did before the pandemic. Wow. Time flies, man. A couple years ago. I think it's on this street, just maybe one more block up. Found the venue for today. We've got it set up in theater style. It was originally only supposed to be about 50 people, but there's over 90 who signed up, so it is officially full. It is completely packed out, which is very exciting. At this point, I went through my standard pre-event rituals. I got a feel for the space, and in this case, there was no stage. I'd be on the same level as the audience, which of course affects the tone of the presentation. It was a packed cocktail hour followed by a really lovely ceremony introducing people, past presidents, new presidents. Everyone got to do breakouts and icebreakers, and you could just feel these people were so excited to get back to work. And then it was my turn. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. What a lovely group. Let's do a warm-up that magicians do. Everybody out like this, everybody out like this, out like this. Oh man, that was so good. You don't have to wiggle your fingers, but I love that everybody's doing it. You keep your hands out, keep your hands out. It's obedient crowd. Everyone's like, we're in the world. We do whatever we have to be in the world. Here we go. Left hand, thumb down, palm out. Excellent. That was mostly left hands. Right hand, thumb down, palm out. Take one arm, cross it all the way over the other, lock your fingers together, make sure your thumbs are down. Do I have thumbs down at the side of the room, thumbs down at this side of the room, thumbs down at the back of the room? All right, everybody on me, ready? Wiggle your thumbs, wiggle your shoulders, and give me a big thumbs up to start this thing. All right, magic, yes. You really shouldn't start presentations like that. People just tend to ignore you for the next hour. You'll see folks just wandering around Times Square later. You'll be like, oh, they were at the thing I was at tonight. That's my people. Belonging. Very good. So some people have dreams of being an astronaut or a firefighter or a wildlife photographer in the safari. My friend Ron, his dream was to be the fastest growing cleaning company in America. Everybody's got to have a dream. That was Ron's. And he was well on his way. As a young entrepreneur, he was starting a franchise. He was the first employee of his own company. So he was running the business and scrubbing the toilets at the beginning. But he built it up after a couple of years. He had, I think, a couple hundred employees across a bunch of states. He was expanding. And he was really starting to get excited about this. But he knew that if he was going to be the fastest growing cleaning company in America, he was going to need some more support. He's going to need to learn more than he already knew. So he had been told that there was this convention he could go to. It was the convention for franchising. If that's your thing, that's where you got to be. So he flew across the country to go to a convention with thousands of people and learn about franchising for the weekend. Took all the time off work to do what we all do. And at some point during the convention, which he was enjoying and learning from, he realized that he needed a break. It was too much. The sessions, the activities, he needed a break. So he walked out into the lobby. It was a big empty lobby because the session was going on. And there was a guy sitting by himself on a bench, the only guy in the whole lobby. So Ron goes up to this guy and he says, what's your name, sir? And the guy says, my name's Fred. And he says, well, my name's Ron. And he sits down and Fred says, well, what do you do, Ron? And Ron, when he told me this story, he said, Brian, I got to be honest, I was bragging. He said, I talked about my company and how it was growing and all the employees and all the states and how fast. And at some point I realized I had been talking too fast and too much and for too long. And so I caught myself and I said, well, what do you do, Mr. Fred? And Fred said, well, I'm the founder and CEO of a little company called Subway. It was Fred DeLuca, who is one of the most successful businessmen in the history of America. A man whose name is literally synonymous with franchising. Ron was embarrassed, but he was undeterred. He decided to recover from it, apologize, and move forward. And they ended up talking for 2 hours. They missed the entire next session. Fred went on to become Ron's mentor, and under Fred's mentorship, Ron's company, Two Maids and a Mop, did become the fastest growing franchise in America, according to Inc.com. But more importantly, Ron and Fred and their families became very, very, very close. They celebrated lunches and dinners and holidays and special occasions together right up until Fred's passing. And that is what we do. That is what our industry does and has always done. Our industry has never been about people like me. The fun, we're up on stage, the activities, the glitz, the guy. Maybe it's what helps people get in the door, buy the tickets, but it's not what these events are for. They never have been. Events, in person, in the real world, these events are for the Freds on a bench.
The presentation was a huge success. Even after I finished an hour, they kept me for another 10, 15 minutes to ask questions that were really lovely and personal. I felt like we all became friends that night and probably would have continued if I didn't want to let them get off to their cocktail hour. And then I spent another 2 hours with them at cocktail hour, shaking hands, fist bumping and elbow tapping, of course, chatting about all of the possibilities that this new hybrid world of work presents. As far as I can tell, I succeeded in my mission.
Oh my goodness. We did it. We did it. We made it. We're back. Long day.
An hour and 15-minute ride home, crash, get up, and throwing my phone. I'm so tired. hour 15-minute ride home, crash, get up, and then I think I have 5 coaching sessions tomorrow. So that'll end it for this one. Thanks for following along. We'll see you soon.